Welcome, everyone, to the Fandom Podcast Network special presentation of Time Warp 1996. April, movies and pop culture. On this episode of Time Warp, we're going to cover the year in pop culture, which includes the movies, TV, music, notable news of 1996, and the 1996 movies and pop culture events are all celebrating their 30th anniversary of this recording. This is Time Warp on the Fandom Podcast Network, and if you're watching the live YouTube there, please hit the QR code. We appreciate that. And my name is Kevin. I'm going to be your host here for Time Warp 1996. And like I said, there's some really good stuff that we're going to be talking about this month. The summer movies are coming up soon. We got some really interesting stuff to talk about. But before we go any further, though, guys, I need to bring in my co-host. And with me, as always, of course, is my brother from another mother and the co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network. Please welcome Kyle Wagner. What's up, buddy?
I feel like there's a lot of things to fear in this episode of Time Warp. So I think I'm just going to take some brain candy, hang out in Dexter's laboratory, and watch a little Mystery Science Theater.
See what you did there. You keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, I like it. Like it. Now, we can't continue with the show without our other co-host here, the queen of movie foo. Please welcome Lacey. What is going on, Lacey Pants?
Hello. Yes, there's a lot to fear. There's love, primal fear.
Yeah.
There's a thin line between love and hate.
Okay, so there's a few films that I did update it, Lacey, just so you know. So we might not be, there's a few that we might not be doing because I updated it, but that's okay. But two things. First of all, we're live, I think, for Time Warp. It's been a while since we've done a live Time Warp. We're probably going to be doing more live in the future. We'll still have the audio podcast. So thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us live, we appreciate that. We do have a live chat as well, so feel free to throw in your stuff. Lacey, what you got?
Is it a paradox to be live on a Time Warp podcast?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I know a doctor I can consult about that. There's one other thing. If you are watching my screen, you see one of the FPN mascots here, Stripesy. He's here because he wants to find out the truth about cats and dogs.
I know his ears perked when we when we realized we were podcasting about that. So yeah. Well, guys, we are, of course, discussing 1996 here. And so it's 30 years ago. I can't believe it, as of this recording. And we have, of course, a lot of other stuff that we have done as well recently. And we did re-release it with all the stuff going on with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We released our Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series retrospective. The audio podcast is out there. Make sure you check it out. You can also see the original video as well. Also, we did Time Warp with NFL Raider players who acted in movies and TV. We also last year did 2 years ago, we did the movies of 1984. A lot of classics, so you can go back and watch those. But last year we celebrated 35th anniversary of 1990. And there was a lot of really cool movies. We covered that, a lot of TV events as well. And a lot of those movies felt like they were still stuck into the 80s. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, a little bit, Lacey. Yeah. But first, make sure you go back and check out our recent episodes of Time Warp 1996. And of course, we did January, February, and March. And now we are in the month of April. And we'll be getting into those very shortly. But we got some other things that we would like to discuss. Now, one of the things that we always like to do here is let's take a step back in that 1996 by fueling up that DeLorean with the flux capacitor, or slingshot around the sun aboard a captured Klingon bird of prey. Take a step into that blue police box or phone booth and step into that quantum leap accelerator. But one of my favorites, of course, is take a dip in the hot tub time machine. As we travel back to the 1996, we're going to remind you what was happening in pop culture, sports, politics, television, and of course, the movies of 1996. Now, I did put a little question out there, a little challenge, like, we wanted something that was introduced in the 90s that was a time machine, guys, and I found it. And it's actually one of my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, and that was Teenage Mutant Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, where they had the time scepter. Do you guys remember this? 1993?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we got a time scepter. We got something 90s that was introduced to us there. So there we go. But let's go back into the time. All right, 1996. What was going on? Where were you in 1996? First class stamp was 32 cents. It seemed like it stayed at 32 cents for a long time, if I remember correctly.
It did.
That's
Yes.
when like the collectible stamps were coming out. I think I still have Elvis stamps that were 32. It was right before they started doing the forever stamps. So yeah. Now, gallon of gas, you're gonna laugh, was $1.26.
Ouch. 409 on the corner for me today.
It's like pushing $6.
I think I saw $3.89 around the corner for me.
Wow.
You guys are lame. It's more expensive over here. Movie ticket was $4.42 average. Yeah. Average income.
No.
Average income per year was $36,000. So and then we had 90s slang guys. We had "ite" or "da bomb" or "as if," "word," "booyah," "dope," and "talk to the hand." And I don't want to hear about it. Kyle?
I used "as if." That's the only one.
Yeah.
Of course, Booyah reference to the great Stuart Scott. But Kevin, I just noticed something on one of these sheets that's up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Popular TV shows, ER. The more things change, the more they stay the same, because now one of the most popular TV shows is a medical drama in an ER starring Noah Wiley.
That would
be the Pit.
Yeah. One of my wife's favorite shows. Yeah. I've made a decision, guys. I can't watch medical dramas on a regular basis. I just get too stressed out. And I've been in the hospital too many times for me or loved ones. And I just, it bugs me. I just can't. Yeah.
As a general service to the world, I do not pick up any new shows until they're in their 5th season, because when I do, everything I choose gets canceled after like 6 to 8 episodes. And it happened for like 4 years in a row. Every show that I picked that I was like, oh, this is gonna be great, was canceled before the first season. So you can
know why that is, Lacey?
Yes,
because you kept choosing shows that were on Fox.
all over the place. I chose stuff all over the place, and it was just crazy. So
yeah, you're right, Lacey.
For the Pit what are we about to have 4 seasons of the Pit? So you're welcome. Okay, because everybody told me I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna love it, but I'm waiting.
I think you have to take HBO shows differently, but that's a whole other podcast.
I don't know, man. It's a concern.
All right, guys, let's get into April 1996 entertainment news. And I got one for you because this is kind of interesting for you sports ball fans. April 1996, the first ever Major League Soccer game is broadcast live on ESPN. The San Jose Clash host DC United at Spartan Stadium in San Jose, winning on a goal by Eric Winalda. And Kyle, the soccer has gotten a lot more popular.
Yeah, but it's in the U.S. Every decade we have this like year moment or 2-year moment where we try to increase the soccer level. Back in the 90s, the U.S. just had the World Cup in it, and they're like Major League Soccer, and we had all these, and surprisingly, Major League Soccer does still exist and is actually become a lot stronger. But we all, for the most part, if you're a soccer fan, with streaming these days, you just go watch it in Europe.
That's true. All right, guys. The next bit of fun that we're going to talk about is toys and tech. So we got the word there's going to be a new Toy Story movie coming out, but 1996 is when Toy Story toys were being released. Toy Story and Buzz Lightyear were the big thing. The release of the first Toy Story movie in 95 led to a high demand for related toys in 1996, especially Buzz Lightyear figures from the movie Toy Story, which was highly sought after toy. McDonald's Happy Meal toys were a huge hit in 1996. I remember these Happy Meal toys, and I think Buzz Lightyear was a much more popular toy than Woody was. And then, the pig and the dinosaur and the little 3-eyed aliens, take me, dear leader, those little guys and stuff, or the claw. The Toy Story toys were just going off.
It was a huge movie. The Buzz Lightyear figure was just with all the sounds, the pop out wings, all that stuff. And let's remember, Tim Allen was at the peak of his powers in 96 too. So everybody loved Tim Allen
going on. So yeah, definitely. All right, next we had, and I remember eating this. It was a thing. Do you guys remember the Arch Deluxe hamburger introduced by McDonald's in 1996? The Arch Deluxe was marketed specifically to adults, despite having the largest advertising and promotional budget in fast food history at the time. It was soon discontinued after failing to become popular. It was considered one of the most expensive product flops of all time. The Arch Deluxe was a quarter pound of beef on a split top potato flour sesame seed bun, topped with a circular piece of peppered bacon, leaf lettuce, tomato, American cheese, onions, ketchup, and Dijon mustard and mayonnaise sauce. I was a huge fan of this. I want them to bring it back, Kyle.
when McDonald's tried to go adult and classy with the Arch Deluxe, and that's how they advertised this thing. That was their marketing thing.
There was some heft to this one too. It was heavier than most. Yeah. It was heavier than the Big Mac, because the Big Mac beef patties were starting to get smaller.
Yeah.
Lacey, did you ever partake in this?
You know what? After the whole, I think it was like in 84 or something, when they had the whole scandal where McDonald's was using like grade D beef or whatever, I haven't eaten a hamburger from there in probably 40 years. I haven't had, I had, the last time I ate there was chicken nuggets, and it was probably 10 years ago. I just,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. The next product we have here is the interactive pager, also known as the RIM 900, RIM 900. The interactive pager is a discontinued two-way pager released in 1996 by Research in Motion, later known for the BlackBerry line of smartphones that allowed users to receive and send text via the Mobitex wireless network. The U.S. operator of Mobitex, RAM Mobile Data, introduced the interactive pager service as RAM First Interactive Paging. The device was named 1997 top product by the magazine Wireless for the corporate user. It was also known as the RIM 900. It was one of the first wireless data devices marketed as a two-way pager. It operated on the Mobitex network. It was a clamshell device that could fit on a belt. It had a small QWERTY keyboard for sending and receiving email and interactive messages. The device is credited with introducing features such as peer-to-peer delivery, read receipts, sending faxes to phones, and text-to-speech technology. Look how cute it is. Look how cute it is.
Kevin, no. This was a device that changed things for a certain business, especially in Miami, because they could communicate prices and that kind of thing. It wasn't just a beeper. You could send to your particular supplier what you needed. And also,
Kyle, are you referring to cocaine?
Well, drug trade in general, I think.
Yeah. So I think it may have made life a little more difficult for Crockett and Tubbs. I'm just saying.
That thing's really cool. I would love to pick up one of those and see if I can power one on. That's pretty cool. I like those. All right, guys, what do you say we get into some music? All right, we got some music news for April of 1996, and I remember this next music bit very well. MC Hammer on April 3rd files for bankruptcy. MC Hammer, known for his hit album and flashy style, hit a financial low in 1996 with 10 million debt and minimal assets after extravagant spending on cars, horses, and mansion, and of course, his entourage. Instead of surrendering, he shifted focus to Silicon Valley tech investing before it was mainstream in hip hop. His early bets on video sharing startups preceded YouTube, enabling him to rebuild influence and wealth. Today's Hammer, Please Don't Hurt Him, remains the best-selling rap album in U.S. history with over 10 million copies sold, proving his early financial collapse was a pivot, not a finish. In 1996, Oakland MC Hammer filed for his bankruptcy, 10 million in debt with only 1 million in assets. He had 200 employees costing up to 1 million monthly, owned 20 luxury cars, 21 racehorses, a private jet, helicopter, and a 40,000 square foot mansion.
Kevin, what you're telling us is he wasn't too legit for bankruptcy.
Instead of turn this mother out, he had to turn his pockets out.
I'm just trying to figure out how many. Okay, it says 200 employees for $1 million monthly. That's $5,000 a person monthly.
Well, it was mostly friends and family.
But in 1996, $5,000 a month. What on earth? Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
For 96?
Yeah, he had hype men. He was paying hype men. It was crazy. His entourage was just crazy. All right, guys. The next,
a lot of Atlanta Falcons were part of that entourage too.
Wait, why? He was from Oakland, bro.
Yeah, but remember, there was a bunch of Falcons in the Too Legit to Quit video, including Dion and Jerry Glanville.
That's true. All right, next, guys, we got April 10th. Alice in Chains plays the Majestic Theater in New York City for an MTV Unplugged record and video to be released in July. I remember watching this. This was a really good Unplugged, a good performance.
MTV
All right,
Unplugged,
guys.
a major change in music was MTV Unplugged. It really opened up a lot of doors.
Yeah. All right, guys, I remember this. April 16th, Madonna announces she is 4 months pregnant by Carlos Leon, her then boyfriend and trainer. And I got a picture here from People Weekly. It said, Mama Madonna. Madonna and her friends talk about the happy arrival of little Lourdes Maria. This, of course, was a shoot later when she was born. Says singer, this is the greatest miracle of life. And baby makes 3. Ready for the material, Mom. Madonna's pregnant and trainer Carlos Leon is the expected dad. That was a big deal. Madonna being a mom.
It's kind of weird that you really don't hear about her daughter that much at all.
Sure you do. She dated Timothy Chalamet when he was in the middle of with Call Me by Your Name. They went to the same high school. Like, that was the most recently, but she's I think she's in fashion now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Lourdes. Yeah. Lourdes Leon.
I have to say that for the longest time, and I'm talking like until she was like 10, I thought that her dad was Leon, the tall African American actor who was in like Cool Runnings and because I always just said Leon and Madonna, like, because they tried to do like the single name for everybody because of Madonna having the single name, and so I legitimately did not have any idea that her dad was not the actor Leon.
That's funny. I know who you're talking about too. That actor was in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next we have is we pull a portion from the Billboard Top 100 for 1996, and we've got songs. Let me see here. Did I update that one there? I did not update that one. My bad. Okay. Well, I am going to get it from the notes here. That was the last month's notes. But so at 76 through 69, 76 we got As I Lay Me Down by Sophie B. Hawkins. 75, If It Makes You Happy by Sheryl Crow. 74, Old Man and Me by Hootie and the Blowfish. 73, Nobody by Keith Sweat featuring Athena Cage. 72, Pony by Genuine. 71, Key West Intermezzo, I Saw You First by John Mellencamp. Number 70, Lady by D'Angelo. And number 69, If Your Girl Only Knew by the late Aaliyah. Do any of these sound familiar to you, Lacey?
Songs. Not a single one.
I know Sheryl Crow, I remember If It Makes You Happy. And As I Lay Me Down by Sophie B. Hawkins, I remember that.
Yeah, those are the two that stand out for me. The rest of them, I'm like, yeah.
I know who some of the band names, but I don't recognize any of the songs. I know who Aaliyah was. I know who Hootie and the Blowfish was or is. But music, I'm so bad.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's talk some television. Wrong one. There we go. All right, we got some television debuts here going on, guys. And I remember this show. I watched it, but I thought it lasted longer than 8 episodes. Do you guys remember the show Prophet on Fox? Of course it was on Fox. And it starred Adrian Pasdor. It was Jim Prophet, and is a newly promoted junior executive at the multinational conglomerate who uses ruthless methods to climb the corporate ladder. He's not above using blackmail, bribery, extortion, or worse to take down one rival after another. Also starring Lisa Blount and Lisa Dar. Do you guys remember this series? Because I do.
I'm trying to figure out how he's got his hands in this poster. So his four fingers are touching, like, the steeple, and then the second ones are up. The third ones are down, and then the pinkies are touching. Like, what is happening? Is this like a weird, like, I don't even know.
Double jointed, maybe.
Kyle, do you remember the show?
I remember hearing about the show. I don't remember seeing it, but Lacey, I gotta ask you this, because I look at this picture of Adrian Pastor, and all I'm saying is, could that not be Gabriel Macht in Suits right there?
I mean, yeah, but I think that between his stint on Heroes, like, that's kind of what he looked like on Heroes. He's one of those guys who sold his soul to the devil because he doesn't age. Like, he looks just like that now.
Yeah.
Like,
he's aged well. I always remember him.
Yeah.
I remember how young he was in the movie Near Dark in 1987. Which is one of my favorite vampire movies. And but yeah, I've always liked him in everything I've seen, and this show did not last very, very long. So
he always felt like he was one hit away from having a massive career.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that show. I was watching it. I thought it lasted longer, and then I'm like, oh wait, it was a Fox show. Of course, it was canceled. So there you go.
He gives good villain vibes, and he does good like businessman. But I think he got kind of pigeonholed into just doing that kind of thing.
I kind of feel this was like Mad Men before Mad Men.
Was it an advertising show?
Yeah. I mean, he's a business executive that was ruthless and did all kinds of stuff. So yeah. Okay. All right, next, guys, we have Power Rangers Zeo. It was on Fox Kids, lasted 50 episodes. Tommy, Billy, Adam, Rocky, Kat, and Tanya all are turned back to their teenage forms thanks to the Zeo crystal. The command center is gone, but the crystals lead them to a new power chamber, and all but Billy take on new Zeo powers. I'll be honest with you guys, I was not a Power Rangers person because it was I was a little bit older in the 90s, so I did not gravitate towards that, and I wasn't a fan of the way they looked. But I know there's 90s kids loved Power Rangers. What about you guys?
I never watched the show. I have been axe throwing with the blue and the red. I don't know their names. I'm terrible. But they were at a convention that I was one of the volunteers for. And
nice.
I was like one of the coordinator assistant people, and it was like the two of them and Kevin Sorbo and his son, and we went axe throwing, and it was really fun. I know one of them's name was David
Frank, the passed away.
David, something with a Y. Yes, I know that one of them passed away. The red, he passed away.
David Frank, he was kind of the ultimate Power Ranger. He was in the more Power Ranger episodes than anybody.
Cool. Nice fella. Nice fella.
I just gotta say, I give Saban a lot of credit because they got everything they could out of Power Rangers.
You're referring to the creator, Chaim Saban, right?
Yes. Yeah. And how he managed that and pulled that off. Again, the Power Rangers came out when I was at an age where it wasn't, but I knew the phenomenon because I was living in Alaska at the time when the first round of Power Rangers came out and working at the comic shop there. And we were getting calls from the lower 48. You have any Power Rangers toys? Can you ship them?
Yeah. Power Ranger toys were so popular, but I even put my GI Joe toys aside. I was in a band and doing other stuff. So I had other things. So definitely little young for me at the time. So yeah.
Well, guys. Culture comic convention, they have at least one or two Power Rangers every year. This year they had Amy, the pink one. Oh God.
Yeah, they're always popular at the convention. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, do you remember on April 21st, they premiered Poltergeist: The Legacy on Showtime? Ran for 87 episodes. A group of poltergeist experts locate, retrieve, confiscate, and otherwise do what it takes to fix haunting situations. Creator was Richard Barton Lewis. Stars Derek DeLint, Martin Cummings, and Robbie Chong. I didn't have Showtime, so I never knew this show existed. When it ran for 87 episodes, Kyle.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty big hit for Showtime. But if you pay attention very closely, you have the main poster up there and then the three images on the side. That very bottom image, that is the Undertaker from
the
WWE.
Wrestler.
Oh.
Because I remember they had a big crossover thing going on and promoting that when he was in an episode of that. They were at this time. They were doing a lot of shows. Like there's a Friday the 13th show that has a pretty strong cult following at this too. But yeah, Showtime. This is when Showtime was just starting to really get into their own original shows themselves, and they milked this one for everything they could.
Nice. Okay. Now I've heard of this show. I've not watched it. Again, I was of a certain age that wasn't watching it, but I know. I think a lot of adults did watch this though. But was Dexter's Laboratory on TNT, debuted April 27th and ran for 80 episodes. Misadventures of a boy genius and his annoying sister. Creator, of course, Genndy Tartakovsky. For Star Wars fans, I will remember that version of the Clone Wars that Genndy did. Has a certain style of animation and stars Kath Soucie, Jeff Bennett, and Christine Cavanaugh are a few of the voice performers. Kyle, were you a fan of Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, I was a huge fan of Dexter's Laboratory. It was so much fun. But Dexter's Laboratory is very significant because if there's
is it laboratory or laboratory?
If
depends on it depends if you're in the US or in the UK.
Well, and if you're Dexter, you pronounce it laboratory.
Okay.
But without this show, there's no Cartoon Network.
That's a good point.
Show,
yeah.
That was the thing. It became so popular. It was started on TNT, and TNT created Cartoon Network for this original show and a few others, plus they're back Hanna-Barbera at the time. But Dexter's Laboratory is a Cartoon Network mainstay original, one of the founder shows of the Cartoon Network. So without Dexter, we have no Cartoon Network.
Well, 80 episodes is a good run, so that's good. That's cool.
Right on.
All right, we got made for TV movies here, guys. Face of Evil aired April 9th on CBS. Stars Tracy Gold, Perry King, and Shawnee Smith. On her wedding night, 20-year-old Darcy Palmer, which I believe is the Tracy Gold character, I could be wrong, empties her fiance's bank account and flees to New York City. Along the way, she tries robbing Brienne Dwyer, who's heading to a New England college for her freshman year, ends up killing her. Darcy assumes Brienne's identity, enrolls in her place in college, and kills anyone who gets in her way. Directed by Mary Lambert, and as I mentioned, stars Tracy Gold, Perry King, and Shawnee Smith. I don't have any memory of this, but boy, that's harsh.
Yeah. That is not your typical made-for-TV movie.
That's some good stuff there. So yeah,
that's a Lifetime. That's a Lifetime movie. They have there's the Hallmark.
Now it would be a Lifetime.
Hallmark romance stuff, whatever. Yeah. And alternately, you have the same actors from Hallmark who are on Lifetime, but they're in the ones where it's like the husband and the wife are fighting and somebody gets murdered, and it's always like, he hit me, so I killed him, or whatever. And the titles were like 18 words long. Yeah. So this feels like a precursor to the Lifetime, like revenge movies. Yeah.
I have to go here. I look at Tracy Gold on this poster. She definitely went through a lot of growing pains.
Oh no.
All right, as we move along here, the next miniseries we have here was on April 28th and 29th, The Beast on NBC, from Peter Benchley's best-selling The Beast. Mystery things happen at the coast of Graves Point. An empty boat lies at the shore. Divers vanish. The sea biologist, Dr. Tally, thinks he knows the solution of the mystery. In the depth, there's a gigantic squid. Stars William Peterson, Karen Silas, and Charles Martin Smith. I have no memory of this, guys, but boy, do I love the poster.
I'm just going to say, thankfully for William Peterson, it did not sink him, because later on he had a little CSI.
Yes. Yeah, he did well for himself. So there you go.
That's the letter C, not SEASI.
Yeah.
We're getting punchy. Punchy.
This is where we get into our top 30 rated TV shows of 1996. We usually do a couple at a time. First one was a show I was always watching all the time when it was on. It ran for 97 episodes, and that is Caroline in the City. Caroline Duffy is a successful cartoonist in Manhattan whose eclectic friends are sometimes the subjects of her comic strip. Stars Leah Thompson, Malcolm Getz, and Amy Peets, who I had a little crush on. Always a big fan of Amy Peets. Who watched this show? I did.
You had me at Leah Thompson.
I don't remember this show at all.
What, Lacey? You don't remember Caroline in the City?
Yeah,
Really?
96. This may be the start of like my Olympic year.
Oh,
because,
you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I not okay. For those watching, I was not in the Olympics. I worked the Olympics.
Yeah, because the Olympics were in Atlanta. In
the Olympics were Atlanta that year. So I think this may be the start of like when I was going through all the prep and the training and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Kyle?
I just want to say this. When it comes to things in common with Kermit the Frog, I have something in common with Kermit the Frog when it comes to Leah Thompson. And if you don't know that reference, I'm not going to tell you. Go look it up and you will understand.
Okay. Because I don't know that reference.
Yeah, I don't either.
But that's okay.
It's from one of the more modern Muppet shows that they've done.
Okay.
Did Kermit have a crush on Caroline?
He had some kind of crush on Leah Thompson. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's all I need. Okay. Next, we have the NBC Monday Night Movie. It was very, very popular. NBC Monday Movie was a television series, of course, that debuted February 4th, 1963, in the middle of the 62-63 season. It was referred to as the Monday Night at the movies prior to the mid-1980s. For those that didn't watch Monday Night Football, they were watching movies. So that was very highly rated. Okay, next we have celebrity births here on Time Warp, 1996 here. Some of those celebrities born in 1996. I don't know a lot of these. I only think I know one of them. Sarah Jeffrey, Canadian actress for Descendants, Wicked World. Austin Mahone, American singer. Miranda May, actress for Bunked. Aubrey Whitby, actress for The Thundermans. Abigail Breslin, that's the one I do know, actress for Scream Queens, as well as many other movies. Dee Dee Davis, actress for The Bernie Mac Show. Roy Woods, a singer. And Aslan Ashley Arm, actress for Sunny with a Chance and So Random. Abigail Breslin's the only one I know, Kyle.
Well, yeah, Abigail Breslin went on to do a few things, didn't she?
Yes.
The rest of these, I couldn't. Dee Dee Davis I actually recognized because I was a fan of The Bernie Mac Show.
Okay.
I feel like I know who Sarah Jeffries is.
Yeah.
From the Descendants.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the Disney show. It's the Disney.
Yeah.
show.
No. If I saw her face, I might know it, but she's not a household name like Abigail Breslin is, because I've seen Abigail in several things. So yeah. Well, let's get into some celebrity film debuts. Some famous celebrities made their debuts in movies that came out this year, and those names are Ingenue Ellis from Girls Town, the movie. Anna Faris, her movie premiere was in the movie Eden. Joseph Fiennes was in Stealing Beauty. Ben Foster was in Counterfeit, that's spelled with a K. And Laura Frazier in Small Faces. There you go. All right, guys. Yeah.
Ben Foster, 1996. It is so crazy that he has done so much since. Don't get me wrong. They've all done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But Ben Foster is such a chameleon. I don't do horror. I don't do a lot of, there's a lot of movies that I don't want to watch. I don't do drama. If he's in it, I'll watch it.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
I will follow him through all the things. Yeah.
Well, guys, let's get into the final segment and let's talk some movies of 1996 that came out in April. All right, so I'm gonna just give you guys a heads up here. Now we did make some addition or some. There was a longer list that we had, and we kind of culled it a little bit here. Well, Lacey's taking herself out, so I'll wait to say what I was going to say until she comes back. But I've got some more to talk about. So, but the first movie that I want to talk about here is one. It was kind of hard to find, but I found it streaming. I want to say on was it YouTube or maybe it was Tubi? I can't remember. It is a movie that came out April 5th called Faithful. It's a black comedy, just made over $2 million in its original theatrical run. And the poster says, after 20 years of marriage, she thought she was the target of her husband's affection. She was only half right. This movie stars Cher, Chaz Palminteri, and Ryan O'Neal. A depressed housewife whose husband is having an affair contemplates suicide, but changes her mind when she faces death by a killer hired to do her in. Directed by Paul Mazursky, writer Chaz Palminteri. Now, what's funny about this, guys, before we get into the trivia here, Kyle, when I was watching this movie, I didn't remember any of the trivia, but I was thinking because there's a lot of really good dialogue between Cher and Chaz Palminteri, who's the one that sneaks into the house and ties her to the chair and is waiting for a phone call. Then he's going to kill her, basically. But there's some really funny dialogue between them that goes back and forth. And after I watched the movie, I'm thinking that would have made a really good play. And Kyle, what does the first bit of trivia say?
This was the second stage play of Chaz Palminteri's to be adapted into a theatrical film. Of course, A Bronx Tale was his first.
Yeah, so it was a play. It felt like a play because there was pretty much only three people who were, there was more people in this movie, but the three that really mattered was Cher, Chaz Palminteri, and Ryan O'Neal, who plays Cher's husband, and they're kind of estranged and not doing too well and stuff. What else we got on that one, Kyle?
Well, I just want to bring up, this is a very kind of bizarre casting when you think about these three particular actors. It was like, how did these three fit together? But it could have been much more interesting because Elizabeth Taylor and Paul Newman were originally considered for the roles of Margaret and Jack Connor.
Interesting.
And then finally, when asked about this film in a somewhat recent 2010 interview, Cher admitted the film was a failure. And I was so sorry for Chaz Palminteri. She went on to say because it was his baby.
Yeah. I didn't know that when I was watching it. And he shines in this movie. It's an interesting little film. Have you guys seen this? Anyone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Lacey, what are your thoughts?
I saw it when it came out. I tried to find it before this so I could rewatch it again. And it was not available / ridiculously expensive on eBay. So I remember it being funny. I remember there was a minute where a lot of these movies where the wife gets kidnapped and it ends up being like a plot kind of thing.
Yeah.
There were comedies. There was one with Keanu Reeves and Fred Ward. There was a whole bunch of different ones where they would either kidnap the husband or the wife. And there were these comedy, kind of weird mid-90s comedies. And so I remember this being funny. I remember there being really good connection between chemistry between Chaz Palminteri and Cher. But I couldn't tell you much more than that. I know I enjoyed it, but I can't really place it much of the rest of it.
Gotcha. Kyle, did you ever see this movie?
I've never seen it, but to be honest with you too, I'm kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Cher films. Sometimes she's really good and sometimes I just have no interest. And Ryan O'Neal, yeah, okay. And like Lacey said, there was a lot of movies with this similar plot line around this time. So
yeah. I actually thought Cher was pretty good in this. The chemistry that was starting to build between Cher and Chaz Palminteri was very good. There was a lot of dialogue going back and forth. Most of it takes place in a house, while Ryan O'Neal is kind of doing his stuff and cheating on her behind her back, so to speak, and stuff. But so I was just like, it's better than I thought it would be, but I thought it was a good role. But yeah. All right, next, guys, we got this one. This one definitely made some news here. This is Primal Fear. Thriller, suspense, and made just over $100 million in its original theatrical run. Of course, stars Richard Gere, Laura Linney, and Edward Norton. A high-profile murder intrigues a publicity-hungry lawyer. Directed by Gregory Hoblit, and writers are William Deal, Steve Shagan, and Ann Bitterman. Kyle, give us some trivia on Primal Fear.
Well, this is Edward Norton's motion picture debut. He was one of 2,100 actors who auditioned for this role. And I remember hearing about this, how this role of Aaron Stampler was one of the most sought after roles in Hollywood. It was widely seen as a career-making role and was pursued by many of the young actors at the time. Even Matt Damon has said he chased the role desperately, having previously missed out on a part in Dead Poets Society. After being passed over yet again, he and Ben Affleck decided the chances of another great part coming along, going through the ranks of known actors before being tossed to the wolves to fight over, were so low that they had to do something about it. The result was Good Will Hunting. Here's the thing. Two pretty well-known actors did turn down this role, though. Both Will Wheaton and Leonardo DiCaprio turned down the part of Aaron Stampler.
Lacey, you have the same one I have on the DVD that we're holding up here. This is the Primal Fear Hard Evidence Edition. And it's funny because and then I have like the regular DVD that just shows Richard Gere on the cover, like the poster.
Yeah.
But there's no special features on this. It's those lame special features that are widescreen version and subtitles and stuff. And then I have this like triple feature with Primal Fear, The Rainmaker, and Changing Lanes. This was the first one that I got, and then I found this one, and then I found this one. But I think I'm going to keep this one that you have. Yeah. That looks pretty cool and stuff. Kyle, was there any other trivia there?
No, that was the main trivia on that. But I think it's interesting how important this movie ends up being in Hollywood, because I remember when this came out, everybody was raving about Edward Norton.
This was his breakout role, definitely.
And then you add in the fact too that this led to Matt Damon and Affleck doing Good Will Hunting because of their experience with this. This is a pretty landmark mark for Hollywood history and how it sliding doors moments and how things could have changed if some things went differently.
What did you say earlier, Lacey, while he was talking?
You said breakout role. I said, it says so right here, his breakout role.
Yes, it does on this DVD one here. Lacey, your thoughts on Primal Fear?
I remember seeing this in the theater and it was amazing. And I bought it. And when I saw that it was coming up in the list, and I was like, oh man. And I had 2 months to watch this movie, and I just couldn't do it because I know the ending, and that ruins it. Even though it's been 30 years, and I'm still just like, no, I know the ending. I feel like it's just ruined. There is a commentary. I will listen to the commentary. I will likely not watch the movie again. It was so good with the twists and the turns. It is very hard. I peg twists as a general rule. I have a screenwriting degree. It's very hard for me to take me off balance in a film. And this knocked me sideways. This to me is up with what's it called, with Kaiser Soze.
Usual Suspects. Yeah.
The twist in this, or at least not necessarily,
or No Way Out with Kevin Costner. You know.
Right, but the maybe not the twist, but just the acting capabilities of Edward Norton to show the twist. Like, he was so good.
I want to give a shout out to Laura Linney. She was fantastic in this movie. I really liked her in this, but I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I just knew that the only thing I remembered was that I knew what was going to happen at the end. I just didn't know how we were going to come to it. So I did enjoy returning to it. So yeah.
Think about this.
Did you have any thoughts on this, Kyle?
Yeah, well, and I want to go back. You have Richard Gere, who's considered one of the best actors in Hollywood at this point. Laura Linney puts in a phenomenal performance. Yet everybody walking out of the theater could not stop talking about Ed Norton, and just how amazing he was in this movie. And I mean, he steals this film, and he steals it from Richard Gere
right. And he was this unknown who came in and just. Richard Gere was this like huge, it was crazy pants that this kid how old was he at the time? Like 21, 19?
Yeah.
Wasn't he nominated for this? I think he was nominated.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah. I just remember walking out going, dude, that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's what this movie is definitely famous for. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have another movie that was a breakout role of someone who was in the music industry, and that movie is Fear, Together Forever or Else. Fear is a thriller suspense, made just over $20 million in its original theatrical run, and stars Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, and William Peterson. When Nicole met handsome, charming, affectionate David, he was everything. It seemed perfect, but soon she sees that David has a darker side, and his adoration turns to obsession, their dream into a nightmare, and her love into fear. Directed by James Foley, writer Christopher Crowe, and of course stars Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, and William Peterson. I've got the DVD here. Kyle, go ahead and hit us up with the trivia. Oh, sure. You got the Blu-ray there, don't you?
Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so interesting because we're in a time of some really young, now very famous actors. Because once again, Leonardo DiCaprio was looked at for the role of David McCall. DiCaprio didn't think he was right for the role, but he put in a good word for friend co-star Mark Wahlberg to director James Foley after working with him on The Basketball Diaries. Foley and Wahlberg spent the day hanging out and discussing the part before Wahlberg was later told by Foley that he really liked him, but he wouldn't be considered for the lead role of David McCall. Wahlberg was subsequently offered to come in and audition for one of David's criminal friends and impressed Foley so much with his audition that Foley told the studio that he would back out of directing the movie if Wahlberg didn't get to play David. This film was actually filmed in 1994, but wasn't released until 96. And Liv Tyler turned down the role of Nicole Walker. I'm just going to say this, much like with Ed Norton, this was the movie that really made Hollywood take notice of Mark Wahlberg and took him seriously and not just as Marky Mark anymore.
Yep, that's a good call. Lacey, you have the Blu-ray. Is there any special features on that one? Because I just have the DVD and there's no features on that.
Let's see. It's
I know, and I noticed you did the little DVD Blu-ray custom combo.
Yeah, I did the combo. No, it doesn't say. I know there are, but this is. Do you remember when? I don't know, like 20 years ago, they started just cranking out DVD Blu-rays to cover old DVDs and putting new stuff, and then they wouldn't put anything on the back. This is one of those. I know there's a commentary on this because I've listened to it and it was weird. But yeah, no special features listed on the back, but I want to say there's a commentary, and I know that there's an interview with William Peterson, and something else. I can't remember what it was. Just a note, Primal Fear, yes, Ed Norton was nominated for an Oscar. He did lose to Cuba Gooding Jr. for Jerry Maguire.
Ah, there we go. Thank you. So I've actually never seen this film until just recently, Fear. And the first Mark Wahlberg film I remember was The Big Hit. That was the one that I remember him doing it, and which is a film I like. I like that movie. And I thought he was great in that because he was very charismatic. He was playing a very likable guy. And even though he was a hired assassin, hired hitman or whatever, but that was the first Wahlberg film that I remember going, okay, I could see this guy in some movies. I like this, but I never saw Fear. I'm not sure why, but rewatching it, man, the movie gets nasty towards the end there with his little
dirty and nasty.
Yeah. But Alyssa Milano in this movie, hot. But yeah, it gets nasty. And that house that they lived at, my God, that must have been that house must now be like a $50 million home. It's crazy where that's located. But I thought it was pretty good though. I enjoyed it. It was good. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's get into now. I got to make a little confession here, guys. So the next film that I have up here is Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre. Sorry, Jane Eyre. Okay. From the Bronte, one of the Bronte sisters there. A little side note before I get into the mess up that I did. Actually, with my wife, we went to UK a couple of years ago, and we actually went to the Bronte sisters' home and checked out that little area. It's very pretty there. So this Jane Eyre was a theatrical run with only about $5 million. It starred William Hurt, Charlotte Gainsbourg, Joan Plowright, and Anna Paquin. However, when I was looking to watch this, I couldn't find it on DVD or Blu-ray anywhere. And I think I found it streaming either on YouTube or like Tubi or something like that. But I made a mistake and watched the wrong Jane Eyre. The one I ended up watching was the one that came out in 1997 for TV. And it starred Deborah Finley, Laura Harding, and I don't know how you say his name, but he usually plays bad guys, and that's Ciaran Hinds or Ciaran Hinds?
Kieran.
Is it Karen?
Kieran, like Kieran Culkin. Kieran.
Okay, Ciaran Hinds. And if you're watching the video, you'll see what I'm talking about here. He's played a bunch of villains. I ended up watching this one by mistake, guys. And this one was that Jane is an orphan, is sent by her heartless Aunt Reed to a charity school. Later, when she becomes a governess at Thornfield Hall, she falls for the enigmatic Mr. Rochester, which is played by Kieran, but discovers that the house holds a dark secret. So I ended up not watching the one with William Hurt. Lacey, do you know anything about the William Hurt run?
I mean, I've seen so many versions of Jane Eyre. They're all well. It's hard to mess up Bronte, right? There's not a lot going on. You just have to be calm and collected and follow through. Like if you don't commit to it, you're not going to do it right. So far, I haven't seen one that sucks.
I had never seen a movie with Kieran Hines, this guy, where he played someone nice. He's always played villains. Yeah. So it was a weird thing. This version here that came out in '97. I've never seen the '96 version with William Hurt. So yeah.
He did play Kenneth Branagh's grandfather in Belfast, where he was a lovely, lovely, sweet man.
Are you talking about Kieran?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where I stand with Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre, am I saying that right?
Eyre, like Eyre. Eyre. Jane Eyre. Yeah.
It was the first time actually watching this any type of version of this Jane movie. I've seen Wuthering Heights recently, and I've seen some other stuff in it, but and I liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought the actress Deborah Finley was good, or was it Laura Hart? I can't remember, but yeah, Kyle, I'm going to guess you haven't seen any of these.
No, that would be true. Pretty much my relationship with Jane Eyre is the movie Definitely Maybe, where the book of Jane Eyre is a key factor in that.
Well, a little bit of trivia just for I'll just going to mention this one bit of trivia for the one that I didn't watch, which is William Hurt. The location of Thornfield Hall was Haddon Hall, Bakewell, Derbyshire, England. Haddon Hall had been used once before for the castle for the Princess Bride in 1987. So there you go.
Yay.
But I recommend the 97 version that I watched by mistake. I kind of liked it, I'll just say. So there you go.
Speaking of the Princess Bride castle, I got Prince Humperdinck to sign my Princess Bride the other day.
Is that the Blu-ray that looks like a book?
Yeah, it's the Criterion.
That's nice. That's a cool version.
I already had Carrie Elways, but so I thought I would have the good guy and the bad guy both sign.
That's great. That's a cool keepsake there.
Yeah, Chris Sarandon was at the convention.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, let's talk about another movie I haven't seen, guys. And that is Kids in the Hall Brain Candy, made just over $2,640,000 in its theatrical run here. A pharmaceutical scientist creates a pill that makes people remember their happiest memory. And although it's successful, it has unfortunate side effects. Writers were Norm Hiscock, Bruce McCullough, Kevin McDonald, and of course stars David Foley, Bruce, and Kevin as well. I did watch Kids in the Hall. I didn't see all the episodes, so I'm kind of familiar with the actors somewhat. But Kyle, give us some trivia on Kids in the Hall Brain Candy.
Well, this is kind of added on, but this movie pretty much spelled the end of one of the most popular comedy troupes of the time, because Dave Foley originally had a much larger role in the writing of the script in the film, with more characters and scenes. But he quit Kids in the Hall in the middle of the writing due to his dissatisfaction with the script, the internal feuds, and he was cast in News Radio and was featured in the movie due to contractual reasons. After years of denial from the five kids, Dave Foley came clear about his involvement with Brain Candy in an interview with the Onion AV Club in 2004. Also, this movie does have a Brendan Fraser cameo. He was the placebo test subject and running out of the laboratory with an animal cage.
Kyle, did you watch Kids in the Hall?
I did watch Kids in the Hall. It's been a very long time since I've seen Brain Candy. I always kind of found them, either I really liked what they did, or I thought they were just being insanely silly and stupid. But gotcha. I do think they are one of the more famous comedy troupes, and really did shape a time for comedy in a very different way than.
Yeah.
I honestly, in a way, I almost compare them. They're like the American version of Monty Python, just not quite as successful.
True. By the way, we are recording live here, and if you guys are watching, thank you, and feel free to mention anything in the chat and tell us what you think, and we'll share it. Lacey, were you ever a Kids in the Hall fan?
Not per se. I like a lot of the individual members. I don't know that I ever saw any of the actual sketch show. But I do feel like, other than Monty Python, because Python was so well known from the 60s and 70s and all that kind of stuff. I feel like Kids in the Hall might be one of the first Canadian or American, as far as the MPAA and the film standards, as far as how you have to be credited. Mm-hmm. I want to say there was a case where they had to make their case for being listed as the Kids in the Hall as opposed to being listed individually. And I think there was I remember there being a big to do about it, and that has led towards things like The State and like Broken Lizard, Rooster Teeth, and those folks being able to come in together as a collaborative and be titled, credited as the group as opposed to individuals. I think this was a standard.
I didn't watch all these shows. I did peek in from time to time. I just remember the funny skit, the guy wanted to squish people's heads from a distance. You know, I just remember that. And
is that them? I remember that.
And then a lot of these actors gone on to do other things, and I remember, they're the Kids in the Hall alumni. So yeah.
And I love Dan Foley. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. The next movie, it was kind of hard to find, but I found it kind of by accident and then on purpose later. And that is Celtic Pride. And I actually have 2 DVD copies of it. Oh, you have one too, Lacey. That's funny. Check it out.
I've had this for years, man. I love this movie. It's ridiculous and silly and stupid, and I love it. And it does not hold up today. But it is hilarious.
So what's funny is I found one that the DVD was very scratched up, and I'm like, is this gonna play? And I was worried about it, but and then I found another one cheap somewhere else, and I bought it just in case that one didn't work. But it turned out the scratched up one still worked, and it is silly, it is weird, and it does not hold up nowadays. And Kyle did. I think Kyle wanted to pass on this one, but. It stars Damon Wayans, Daniel Stern, and Dan Aykroyd. And real quick, let me just give you the lowdown on it, and then Kyle will get your thoughts on it. Comedy made just over $9 million in its theatrical run, and the catch line for the poster says, "If you can't beat him, steal him." 2 over-loyal Celtic fans kidnap their opponent's star player in order to guarantee their team championship. Writers are Judd Apatow and Colin Quinn. Stars Damon Wayans, Daniel Stern, and Dan Aykroyd. Kyle?
There are rumors within Boston sports fandom that if you claim you're a Boston sports fan and you own a copy of Celtic Pride, not only do they kick you out of Boston sports fandom, they run you out of the city.
Are you referring to Bill Simmons, who says it's like one of the worst movies ever?
I mean, if anybody can confirm that, it's him, but I do have.
You got some trivia for us?
Yeah, I do. One of the two films that writer-director Judd Apatow wrote the screenplay for in 1996. The other was The Cable Guy, starring Jim Carrey. He should have stuck to just one. Just saying. And Matt Broderick, which he had fought hard to get credit in a battle with the WGA after rewriting the majority of the script for both Carrey and director Ben Stiller. He still got a producer's credit despite it. But if you should watch this movie, stay tuned after the film's end credits for a shot of the old Boston Garden being imploded for demolition, since both the Boston Celtics basketball team and Boston Bruins NHL hockey team both moved to the Fleet Center, which was located not far from the old arena for the start of the respective 95 to 96 seasons. The film was released towards the end of the regular season and beginning of the playoffs in both sports. I think a lot of people would have hoped that they would have just put the film reels in with the destruction.
Yeah, it's not a great film. It is silly. I don't think I'll be holding on to my copies, but I know, Lacey, you said you liked it.
It was so fun back then. It was so funny and so silly. And you watch it now and you're like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What? Okay. Wow. They did that.
I just want to say, if you want to watch Damon Wayans in a sports comedy movie, just go watch The Great White Hype.
Or The Last Boy Scout.
The Last Boy Scout, yes.
No, but that's not comedy.
I mean,
it's funny in times though. So yeah, it's like an action comedy. But yeah.
I will say this does have Dan Aykroyd doing his Dan Aykroyd, his super fast speech, that kind of stuff, and he's funny about it. I love that. I think that the reason that Celtics fans don't like this movie is because of the way they treated Larry Bird.
Yeah,
because Larry Bird
never ever mess with Larry Bird. I'm just saying.
He came into that movie and he did his cameo is priceless. And then
all right, guys,
as well. Yeah.
Let's get in the next film here. I actually just finished watching this. It took me like 3 or 4 nights to finish it, but I found it on YouTube, I think it was. And that is Mrs. Winterbourne, a romantic comedy just made over $10 million. And it stars Shirley MacLaine, Ricky Lake, and Brendan Fraser. Connie, unwed and pregnant, is heading to Boston by train where she meets wealthy newlyweds Hugh and Patricia. The train crashes, and when Connie comes into the hospital, she is mistaken for Patricia, who died in the crash with Hugh. Kyle, give us some trivia on Mrs. Winterbourne.
Based on the American crime novel I Married a Dead Man by Connor Woolrich, under the pseudonym of William Irish, remake of a Barbara Stanwyck film, No Man of Her Own, which came out in 1950. Ricky Lake, who, if you were around at that time, was very famous for some pretty dramatic weight loss. And even though she had lost 125 pounds, was required to lose an additional 20 pounds before filming could begin.
So this movie took an interesting turn. It's mistaken identity, of course, and she's accepted into this rich family, and they treat her as like a daughter of their own, including the baby when it's born. And then there's a little romantic relationship that starts to develop between Ricky Lake's character and Brendan Fraser's character. But then you got the deadbeat dad that comes in later and realizing what's going on and the secret that she's hiding, and he's extorting her, and stuff starts to happen. Lacey, what are your thoughts? You got the DVD too.
Yes. Okay, so I love this movie. I love anything Brendan Fraser does, but I adore Shirley MacLaine in this movie. And Miguel Sandoval, who plays the butler.
Yes.
He plays a gay Cuban butler. And there's a discussion.
He's another guy that has played a lot of villains.
Yeah.
So it was really weird to watch him in kind of a comedy type thing.
But it comes in, like, the reason I say he was gay and Cuban is because that becomes a conversation within the film about how this family took him in when, if he had been sent back to Cuba, he would have been, they do not, at that time, that was not accepted and all this. It's amazing and it's so sweet. And Lauren Dean plays the bad guy. And you recognize Lauren Dean from so many other things. I mean, so many others. Mumford.
Just when you say Lauren Dean, is that the guy or is that a girl?
That's the bad guy. Lauren Dean.
You're referring to the father of the child.
Yeah. The druggy guy.
Yeah.
He was in Gattaca. He was in he had a huge minute, and then he was another one of those actors where it was like he was so big for like a year and a half, and then he just sort of disappeared. And I was like, where did he go? Yeah, because he had like 3 or 4 big hits back to back where he was, he had this, he had a sci-fi movie where he was a main part in Gattaca, and then he was a main character, or not, in a few right in a row. And
yeah, I didn't recognize him. It's been a while since I've seen Gattaca. I've been meaning to return to that, but yeah, I was wondering what else he'd been in. Kyle, have you seen this movie?
It's been a while, but I remember seeing this movie. Brendan Fraser, obviously MacLaine's great in it. Ricky Lake is one of the strangest celebrities of this era. She went from talk show host to being famous for weight loss. She did some acting roles. And she was just kind of bizarre. She was more popular than what you would think, but yet she wasn't what you would call a star either. It was just, I remember her just being, it's one of the weirdest cases of celebrity I can ever remember.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of her lately too. So yeah. All right, guys. The next film we have here is Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, made just under $1 million in its theatrical run. Mike Nelson and his robot companions watch and give their comments about This Island Earth from 1955. Writers, of course, Michael J. Nelson, Trace Billou, Jim Mallon, and of course starts those characters as the voices in there as well. I always checked in on Mystery Science Theater 3000 on the TV series, but I did not see this movie. I don't remember the movie that they were riffing on as well. Kyle, give us some trivia on Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie.
Well, before I get into the trivia, because this ties into the trivia, there are times when you have something so good that you shouldn't change what you're doing with it, and this is one of those times. The makers of Mystery Science Theater 3000 were so annoyed by their experiences having to work with a major studio on the film that they later parodied the experience on the TV series. In The Incredible Melting Man, the host segments are about Crow's screenplay being purchased by a studio, then ruined by the executives, as they vainly try to shoot it and screen it for audiences. Series writer and star Mary Jo Pehl would later call the episode an exercise in healing. And even more so, the theatrical film at 73 minutes is shorter than every other episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000, which typically ran for 90 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember though that I remember people started riffing on films that were good. And this is where I think things started to go wrong, is you riff on films that are bad, are obviously bad, but then they started doing mainstream films. And I remember I went to go see a live performance by one of I think it was Mike or someone in Atlanta, and they decided to do Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
I remember that.
And it almost ruined the movie for me. I'll be honest with you. And they started doing like Top Gun and Starship Troopers. I get, but when they start doing really popular fan loved films, I've decided to not go to those at all. If they're a movie I really, really like, I'm not going to watch it. It gets weird.
When they were doing the riff tracks with the more modern movies, I did go to the one for Anaconda, and that was a blast.
That makes sense. Because that's a movie it's like a lot of unintentional comedy that they point at and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, you got the movie Anaconda. There you go.
The original. I just got the new one in the mail as well. This is going to be hilarious.
The next one is one of my favorites, guys. Wait. I love this movie. Yes, Lacey?
I didn't get to talk about Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead. What do you got?
Nothing. It's all good. I was never a fan. The one thing I did love about Mystery Science Theater is that on the original Men in Black Blu-ray, maybe DVD, I don't know. The commentary has them in the mysteries, like it's a visual, and you can see they actually filmed Tommy Lee Jones and Sonnenfeld and Sonnenberg. What's his name? Oh my gosh, whoever the director, and so they're actually sitting
Barry
there.
Sonnenfeld, yeah,
Barry Sonnenfeld. Like, so they're actually like have the little white outline across the bottom of the screen.
So they did it Mystery Science Theater 3000 for Mystery Science Theater
style. Right. I've never seen a Mystery Science Theater.
The next film is probably one of my favorite films with Tom Berenger next to Sniper. That is The Substitute, made just over $14 million in its original theatrical run. Shale's mercenary team is retired after a not-so-covert mission in Cuba. He becomes a substitute teacher at his teacher's fiance's Miami high school to get those that are behind kneecapping her, and his team helps him. Directed by Robert Mandel and stars Tom Berenger, Raymond Cruz, William Forsythe, and Ernie Hudson. Kyle, give us some trivia on The Substitute.
The movie was shot during the summer months, and kids who enrolled in summer classes were extras in the film. Free Papa John's pizza was served to anyone who would stay after school. Yeah, okay, I'd be doing that. The game Wolfson is playing is Highlight, the fastest ball sport in the world. Considering that this movie was based in Miami, if you don't understand the culture, Highlight was so huge for a long time in Miami. I believe there's several Miami Vice episodes that mention Highlight.
It's in the opening credits of Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And then, they're the little Scoopy things they use became a thing of toys where kids would like throw them back and forth and use them. But it's such a Florida thing. It really is.
It's really a time thing. Like that's actually a huge plot point in like season 6 of Mad Men. They get the Highlight Association. They're doing their ads and stuff. It became a very popular sport in like little pockets around the country, and they were trying to make it into a huge like countrywide thing. And I don't know that it took off, but
they even had a version of Highlight in Tron. So that's
Kyle, you got one more for us?
Yeah, Shale, who was played by Tom Berenger, uses the pseudonym James Smith when he goes undercover as a high school teacher. Glenn Plummer, who appears in the film as teacher Daryl Sherman, also played a character named James Smith 1 year earlier in the film Showgirls, 1995.
So I just want to say something real quick. I love this movie, and I got to say, it wasn't until years later I watched the I'm not going to call them sequels, but the ones with Treat Williams, he did 2 more of those, or he did 2 of them. Got to say, he was actually really good in those movies as well. Rest in peace, by the way. But I have a DVD. I have the the DVD here that has all 3. I don't know if there was a Yeah, there is a fourth one. I haven't watched the fourth one yet, but here's the DVD I have of all 4 of the Substitute movies there. If you guys have seen all these there. So yeah. You got Substitute 2 with Schools Out, Substitute 3 Winner Takes All, Substitute 4 Failure is Not an Option. Those all-star Treat Williams. The second one is probably the best one, but Treat, give it up to him. He did carry on the mantle as the Substitute. Kyle, give me your thoughts on Tom Berenger's The Substitute.
Tom Berenger always took these. He could have been a huge action star, and at times he was, but he always took these kind of roles. And The Substitute is maybe one of the most famous ones. This movie really, Kevin, I think you'll agree with me on this. This was a movie that took off on home video.
Yes,
for sure. This kind of is one of those movies that Berenger's a cult classic actor for. And then Treat Williams taking over the franchise later. But this became a pretty solid franchise for the direct-to-DVD market. And Berenger's he's great in it. And because Tom Berenger he's got that charisma that pulls you in no matter what role he's playing. And he's kind of a chameleon in the aspect of that charisma. He uses that charisma in different ways, but it's still there, and he just pulls you in with it. And he does it so well with this, and it's just a fun movie.
It is. Yeah. Lacey, your thoughts on The Substitute?
Okay. So this came out there was a little minute where we had a whole bunch of like one guy comes in and saves the barrio kids, right? Like it was always like an underserved high school, or they would try to make like a race thing, you had
they had the principal in 1987 with James Belushi in it, Band of the Hand and stuff like that.
Band of the Hand, The Substitute, Stand and Deliver, Dangerous Minds, and
Lean on Me.
Yeah, Lean on Me. So it was kind of like I got to a point where there was a lot of kind of controversy around these because it did become kind of like the white savior movies,
right?
Which is not a good. It's a whole thing. As a standalone film with like the guy coming in to like avenge his wife's situation, I dig this movie. It did have 3 sequels. That's cool. He's really good at making one movie that has so many sequels. Like Sniper, like I think Sniper's 11 movies now or 12.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
But I remember seeing this. I remember seeing The Principal. I remember seeing all these, and kind of like they all kind of blend together. None of them stand out to me. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that none of them. They all kind of. There was like a time where they all came out kind of in the same like 2 or 3 year period, and I was like, oh, okay, here's another, hard ass saves the kids from being in gangs movie. And there's a lot of tension just around that subject that seems
Mark Anthony was in this, and he plays another villain in this, and he was pretty good in that as well.
Truthfully, the sad part about this is, and this is an aspect of time warp, I don't think they'd be able to make this movie today.
No.
That's why it's so good too. I love this movie. I think it's great.
Back in the day, this was a good movie. Now you look back at it and you're like, wow, these are not things that this is not a reasonable expectation. Yeah.
Next we have is Mulholland Falls. Just made over $11 million in its original theatrical run. 1950s Los Angeles, a special crime squad of LAPD investigates the murder of a young woman. Stars Nick Nolte, Melanie Griffith, Jennifer Connelly, John Malkovich, Chris Penn, Michael Madsen. I already said Chaz Palminteri, I think. So there you go. And the tagline on the poster says "The power of love versus the love of power." Kyle, give us some trivia on Mulholland Falls.
The story based on the film's 4 detectives on the real-life LAPD foursome known as the Hat Squad. As portrayed in the film, the LAPD leadership empowered them and the larger gangster squad, subsequently named the Intelligence Division, to specific, indirect, and the movement of East Coast organized crime into Los Angeles. The actual LAPD units allegedly used tactics consonant with the level of necessary to counter and repulse organized crime groups.
That's kind of the Gangster Squad movie was a little bit about that too, where the cops had to basically become, they had to kind of put their badges aside and become more like vigilantes, had to become and do stuff like the criminals they were trying to stop.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson was offered the role of Chief Bill Parker. He declined, but did recommend Bruce Dern for the part.
What's funny too is William Peterson's in this movie as well. He has a small role in the beginning of it, and he gets roughed up. I think
Busy
he
April
gets
for William Peterson.
Yeah. And Mulholland Falls is a reference to this cliff that they toss people over, basically. And,
Mulholland Drive is one. If you ever, and this is such a cliche, okay, but if you visit Los Angeles, you drive over Mulholland, which is the name of a road. Mulholland goes over the mountains into the valley. And if you don't want to do it at rush hour, that's the worst idea ever. But if you can get to it at dusk on like a Saturday, it's got one of the most beautiful views of the city ever.
Yeah.
Also, there's kind of like the back entrance to the Hollywood sign. Don't do that; you'll get arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had actually never seen this film before. I'd heard of it. I got it confused with Mulholland Drive, which is the David Lynch film.
Awful.
Yeah. But Mulholland Falls, I actually did enjoy it. I love the 1950s thing. I think this would make a good double feature with like whatchamacallit? Oh, crap.
LA Confidential?
Yes, LA Confidential. Which is a superior film to this, but I really enjoyed this. And it's a good kind of like crime scene thing too, because Jennifer Connelly's in this. She looks great. She's beautiful. There's she's had relationships with more than one person in this, and that comes about. But what was interesting though watching it is that they come across a body and they're wondering like, how did the body look like this? Why is every bone in the body broken? And you find out that these military people are killing these people and dropping them out of a plane.
Mm-hmm.
And because they had something to do with the conspiracy that's happening on this base with nuclear stuff and what is it? John Malkovich is the leader of that base and everything. And I liked this Hat Squad working together. They were very tight. Another character who's having a hell of a year in '96 is Chaz Palminteri.
Yep.
But it's Chaz Palminteri, Nick Nolte, Michael Madsen, and Chris Penn. They work together, helping to kind of solve this crime. And I thought it was a pretty good thing. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Kyle?
Was this before or after?
Wait, hold on. Kyle, you go first.
You look at this cast and you wonder, this movie kind of fell through the cracks.
You did.
And you look at this cast and you go, how in the hell did that happen? When I watched this, the one thing about this movie was sometimes it felt like it got a little bit like it wasn't quite sure of which direction it was going into. But just the cast alone, and it just never caught on. I don't know if there was too much competition with this type of movie that at this time.
Did it get a lot of play on like HBO or whatever?
No, not really. I mean, this is a movie that's kind of I think just kind of disappeared for a lot of people.
Got lost in the ether.
Yeah.
Lacey.
Okay, this came out in 96, yeah? So 92 was Reservoir Dogs. This is the first time we've seen Michael Madsen and Chris Penn on screen again together. They should have like banked on that. They should have promoted that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, though, I think that the big issue with this film is that they made it a period piece. This storyline would have been just as good if it was present day.
It's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good
point.
A
lot of time, and when you look at the poster, if you're watching, the video, the poster is very 1950s, hard-boiled cop drama, right?
Yeah.
And I think that in 96 was not. We didn't get a lot of that in 96. And so it became like a little niche film. Right. And so I don't think it did well because of the marketing and because of the fact that they could have done a different poster and it would have killed.
Yeah, I agree. I did enjoy the story. I just love 1950s film noir LA with gangster influences that were coming from the East Coast. And the cast is great in this. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was good. It had some good moments in it. So, yeah.
I have one question, Kevin. How did they not put Jennifer Connelly on the poster?
Right? Jesus, come on.
Especially at that point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was good in this. So, yeah. All right, guys, the next film we have stars Jean-Claude Van Damme. The Quest just made over $21 million. The poster says, a lost city, a man of destiny, a test of honor. The Quest, go the distance. A group of gentlemen of fortune visits a legendary lost city located in Tibet. They plan to steal a priceless statue, the Golden Dragon, during the martial arts tournament. Directed by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Writers, Frank Dukes, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Stephen Klein, Stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Roger Moore, and James Remar. Kyle, things get interesting with this movie. Give us some trivia on The Quest.
Can I say I'm just having flashbacks to our Bloodsport Couch Potato Theater?
Yes.
Frank Dux sued Jean-Claude Van Damme, so much for that partnership, over the writing credits of the movie, claiming that Van Damme and he wrote this story under the title The Kumite Enter the New Dragon in 1991. Van Damme denied this, claiming the two projects were unrelated. Dux won his story credit via a ruling of the Writers Guild of America, but lost the actual court case. Yet another bizarre chapter in the life of Frank Dux, and we still might never know the full truth about it. But here's where it gets even more bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Roger Moore wrote in his autobiography that he greatly disliked Jean-Claude Van Damme and producer Moshe Diamant, even jokingly nicknaming the lead star Jean-Claude Venereal Disease when away from the set. Despite this, according to interviews with film crew members, Moore never voiced his disgust with Van Damme in public and behaved gentlemanly throughout the shoot. That's because he's James freaking Bond.
So, guys, I had never actually seen this Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It feels like it's one of those films. And by the way, it takes place in the 20s, if I remember correctly. And it basically, I'm watching it going, this is basically Bloodsport, but with a heist kind of twist to it, right? And I'd never seen this film before. I never owned it, but when I was in Australia this last month, I found it like at a thrift store, and I was like, oh wait, I gotta watch that movie, and that's how I'm gonna find it. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I didn't search for it because I did find the DVD, but I wasn't sure. And I'm the only redeeming qualities about this movie is Roger Moore and James Remar's performances in this. Otherwise, this movie sucks. Just
okay. I have to weigh in on something here, because I remember when this movie came out in the theaters, it actually got a pretty big marketing push. Van Damme was really hot.
Yep.
And we throw in Roger Moore. And Kevin, I swear, there was a point when this movie came out on home video for about a year to a year and a half. There was a big push that people said, this might be Van Damme's most underrated film. This might be his best performance. And then that changed.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like on the DVD cover here, it says an explosive thrill ride. Van Damme does it again. American Urban Radio Network. Who the hell is that? I don't know. Go see Bloodsport. This is a Timo version of Bloodsport. Lacey.
Okay, there's so many things. Okay, you're right. Awful. Right? Just awful. So it was trying to be Bloodsport meets
Alan Quartermain.
I was gonna say another little Chuck Norris, Louis Gossett film.
Firewalker.
We're thinking about maybe Fire. It was kind of like Firewalker meets, and they just took all the worst parts of both movies and threw them together, and then gave him a poster where it looks like he's just had a really bad night with a CPAP machine. And I don't know what's going on with the braid on his forehead. Like he's got a weird braid, but it looks like actual hair. Like
it's a headband. It's a certain type of headband.
Yeah. I understand, but it just looks like he has murdered someone and taken their ponytail and put it on his a braid around his.
I'm pretty sure he was on cocaine while directing this. I'm just gonna say, or something. So
I mean, yeah. I don't.
He was having 80s flashbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
But then the guys on the bottom, like even if you're just looking at the picture of the thing, it's like people are dressed in like tribal outfits, and he's in like a wrestling unitard. Like I'm trying to figure out.
He's doing his famous splits though, right there. The kick he's doing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
I had trouble finishing this film. I'll be perfectly honest with you, and it's not good. I will not be saving this DVD.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get into the last film we're going to discuss here, and this one I was really happy to return to. The Truth About Cats and Dogs, romantic comedy, just made over $34 million in its original theatrical run. A successful veterinarian and radio show talk show host with low self-esteem asked her model friend to impersonate her when a handsome man wants to see her. Directed by Michael Lehman, writer Audrey Wells, and of course stars Uma Thurman, Janine Garofalo, and Ben Chaplin. Kyle, give us some trivia on the truth about cats and dogs.
Well, Janine Garofalo, a shade over 5 feet tall, sometimes had to stand on a box just to be in the same frame with the 6-foot co-star Uma Thurman. And there is a scene where Uma Thurman and Janine Garofalo are in a bookstore. Bob Odenkirk and David Cross are in the background looking at a large shelf of books. Screenwriter Audrey Wells worked as a disc jockey at a San Francisco jazz station, KJAZ-FM. Her experience inspired her to give the character Abby a radio show.
Which I think is one of the things that's charming about this film, because there's some very funny people that she talks to on the radio station when they call in. Of course, Ben Chaplin's character is a photographer who's trying to photograph this dog on skates, and and he calls in. It's a very funny scene. And there's a famous line from this movie about how you can love your pets, but don't love your pets. It's a very funny scene. Yeah. But I hadn't seen this in a while. I remember seeing it in the theater. Still charming. Janine Garofalo, I thought, was really good in this. The plot's a little weird with pretending to be someone else and all the stuff that happens, and then, how do you get kind of past that when Ben Cross finds out, and and Uma Thurman's got her character's got this really dick boyfriend, and I really like how Janine stands up for her and helps her through that. Lacey, let me get your thoughts first on the truth about cats and dogs.
This is a gender bent update of Cyrano de Bergerac.
There you go. Yeah.
This is it's so good. It's one of my favorite updates of a classic. When the way they meet is because she accidentally breaks the bow, her violin bow. Yes. When she tries to replace it, she's like the whole
no, she doesn't break it. It's the boyfriend that does. And and then that's how
and so she tries to she comes back and says, this is I didn't realize how expensive they are. This is kind of basically like the Toyota or the Honda of it's just a fun movie with a lot of little cute isms that she has. But yeah, it's basically Cyrano de Bergerac with the roles reversed, and it's awesome. It's one of my favorites. And I remember Ben didn't have a lot more. Like I felt like Ben Chaplin was gonna have like way more stuff going on.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have a bigger career too. And I found myself kind of wanting to see more of these characters, like in a sequel or something. Kyle, your thoughts on the truth about cats and dogs?
The problem I have with this movie isn't so much that it's a bad movie. There's an Uma Thurman factor here. After all her Tarantino run and Kill Bill and everything, I have a hard time seeing Uma in a romantic comedy like this anymore. It doesn't feel, it feels out of place in a way. And
hold on. Well, you seeing her in a romantic comedy throws you off?
Yeah, there's something about it. All I see is the bride.
Did you ever see her with Luke Wilson in My Super Ex-Girlfriend? Did you ever see that one?
I saw that one, but even still, it's just I have such
which is hilarious, outlook. By the way.
Yeah,
The Accidental Husband might be my favorite though for her.
Yeah.
I love her in romantic comedies. Yeah.
It's just I see her in such a different way now. I mean, this is a fun little romantic comedy. It's just I'm not a huge Janine Garofalo fan either. I can give her take on her at times, but it's fun. It's cute. It's there.
This actually is maybe next to The Bowler and Mystery Man. This is I liked her in this film and liked her in Reality Bites, but that's pretty much it. I think, she did have a good guest starring role on the TV show Younger. I did like her in that though, but yeah.
Matchmaker was fun.
I did not see that.
Oh, super fun. Super fun. I'm not going to say anything else. Watch The Matchmaker. It's an Irish. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool. Fun.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up here.
Wait.
Sorry, Lacey, you got something else?
Yeah, I was just going to say the two movies that we cut were How to Get Away with Murder and Thin Line Between Love and Hate. And this cannot be made today. It's really weird.
You're talking about a thin line between love and hate. Yep. Okay.
It cannot be made today. And then this one, Getting Away with Murder, it's about a Nazi. So it's a comedy about a Nazi. And
I couldn't find that anywhere. I was just like, so
I didn't remember it. I thought it was something else, and it's like, it's about a Nazi. Did not realize that it's a lot. It's hard to make a Nazi comedy.
So those made the cutting room floor. I couldn't find them anywhere. I'm impressed that you have them on DVD each, because I couldn't find them, and I couldn't find them streaming anywhere. So
Right on.
But I am intrigued about a comedy with the Nazis, so I'll have to give it.
And it's Jack Lemmon. I mean, it's a huge cast. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap things up here. This is April 1996 Time Warp. And I want to get your kind of final thoughts on this month's episode of Movies and TV and Pop Culture. Lacey, let's start with you.
I think, based on what just out of the ones that I have here, I think that a lot of the offerings this time around are of their time and not makeable today. I think that Celtic Pride suffers from that. I think that several other things suffer from that. Fear, I don't know if you could make Fear today. Primal Fear is probably the only one that could be, dealt with because, I think that this is kind of the best time capsule that we've had so far.
That's a good call.
Being of the time, right there. This is what we had. This is what was okay at that time.
Right.
And there was anything that was made that was like a pop culture, like I don't know. I think that this is a good visual into the day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Cool. In 96, yeah.
Kyle, I want to get your thoughts on this month here of movies for April of 1996.
I agree very much with what Lacey said. This is very much a month that reflects the year, and there's not really anything in this month. There's some things that maybe have some cult following. Obviously, The Substitute has a cult following. I think when you look back at this particular month in films in this year, it goes down for being more famous for bringing us an amazing performance by Edward Norton and putting him on the scene. And
Mark
and
Wahlberg, it made over $100 million. It was a blockbuster. So
and putting Mark Wahlberg on the Hollywood map as a legit actor. I think that's what you take away from this. I think the rest of these films, they all have their little fan bases. They all have their little moments, and we see them and we go, but there's a lot of direct-to-video type things. There's not what I call huge box office hits in this month. And Kevin, I think it's a real reflective time. We are still in the era. We're kind of like, they're just putting the little things out because they're waiting till May and June for summer movie season. We haven't hit that point where summer movie season feels like it started in March now.
Right. Yeah. That's a good call. Yeah. Good a time capsule that these definitely feel like. And Lacey, you're right. There's several of these you can't make. And to borrow a term, our friend Michael says, I think that if I were to unmake one movie, it would definitely be The Quest. It was really, really bad. But definitely a good eclectic group of genres as well. The movie that probably surprised me the most of the ones that I hadn't seen between Fear, Celtic Pride, and Mulholland Falls was probably Mulholland Falls. I would go back and probably rewatch that one. Celtic Pride, I think that one will definitely not stay on my shelf. So there. Well, guys, let's go ahead and close things out. All right. Before we close things out, though, first of all, thank you all for joining us. For those of you watching, thank you very much. We're going to be doing these time warps again live, and feel free to jump into the chat. Let us know what you think. Next time, though, we got a little tease for next month, guys. And what we're going to be discussing is May of 1996. We got some interesting films that I'm looking forward to rewatching and discussing. We got Barbed Wire. We also have The Craft. We've got Twister, Welcome to the Dollhouse, the Doctor Who movie. We also have Train Spotting. We got Spy Hard, the original Mission Impossible, Dragonheart, The Arrival. Yeah, we've got a lot to chat about going into that. And of course, some of our top-rated TV shows we're going to be discussing is X-Files, Walker, Texas Ranger, and Mad About You. Kyle, what you got?
You cannot run off that list of movies without mentioning the most important one to you. and that is Underworld.
Underworld?
Gee, can you say movie wife?
No, Kyle, that's a different Underworld. Underworld with my movie wife came out in 2002 or
Oh,
1.
you're right.
This is a different one that we'll get into. That's this one stars Dennis Leary, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
I mean, come on. Do we not get more 90s in a movie with Pamela Anderson, Tom Cruise kicking off another version of his action movie career with a franchise, and The Craft? I mean,
yes.
Come on. We don't get more 90s than this. Oh, and Sean Connery voicing a dragon.
There you go. Guys, this, of course, is Time Warp. And if you guys are watching the live YouTube there, please check out the QR code. That'll take you to our website with all of our awesome shows under the Fandom Podcast Network umbrella. We are on, of course, on Facebook. Fandom Podcast Network is also on Blue Sky, Instagram, and X. My name is Kevin. You can also find me on those socials as well. Kyle, how can we get a hold of you?
Oh, well, of course, you can find me all over the Fandom Podcast Network. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at AKyleW. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at AKyleFandom. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook at Kyle Wagner. And, of course, all over the great Facebook groups in the Fandom Podcast Network.
Now, Lacey, last I checked, you were on Letterboxd still. Where can we find you there?
Lacy Pants at Letterboxd. I don't, I mean, I do log my stuff, but I don't really do reviews or anything. So I'm kind of boring, but you can see what I've been watching.
Good. Well, with all those videos that you have behind you and your awesome, Lacey cave there, definitely keep track of that. So guys, there you go. Check that out. Yeah. Support us on TeePublic at the Fandom Podcast Network. I've got my Time Warp t-shirt. You can get that there. All the proceeds there go to helping us out there, and you can get logos from all of our network shows on all kinds of apparel. So check that out. Again, this is Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback show on the Fandom Podcast Network. We've been discussing April of 1996. We're celebrating the year of 1996 this year because it's celebrating its 30th anniversary. We are feeling old. Lacey, thank you so much for joining us again for this month. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And Kyle, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. There you go.
It's always a pleasure, but guys, I got to go chase a storm.
I see what you're doing there. There you go. Well, guys, thank you again for joining us here. We'll see you next time here on the Fandom Podcast Network for another episode of Time Warp. Until next time, we will see you back in time.